Okay, just some quick anatomy. You have the boom, that's this part. It pivots there. You have the stick, that pivots there, and then you have the bucket. Okay, so when we refer to the boom, that's the first part, the stick is the second part, and the bucket obviously is the bucket. Then to lift the stabilizing feet, you just pull them back toward you. And so again, you're pulling a control toward you, which raises these up toward you. It's easy to remember. Okay? So we're going to push them all the way down. It kind of takes the weight off the wheels and the axles. Now as far as the controls, this controls the boom right here. So we can make the boom go left by pushing left. We can make the boom go right by pushing right. Let's go back to center now. Now we can make the boom go down, which just puts just the boom down. Now we can make the boom go down, which just puts just the boom down. Make the boom come up, which is just pulling back this way. We can make the boom come up, which is just pulling back this way. So it's really pretty easy. Moving the boom back toward you is pulling back. Moving the boom away from you is pushing it away. So that's pushing the boom that way. Okay? Back up, and we can move it left and right. That's all this left control does, is moves the boom. This control just moves the boom. Okay, and then the control here does two things. It moves the stick toward you and away from you, and it also curls the bucket and extends the bucket to dump. So if you want to call it curl and then dump, whatever, however you want to call it. So if we want to move the stick toward us, we're going to pull this control toward us. That moves the stick toward us. So if we want to move the stick toward us, we're going to pull this control toward us. That moves the stick toward us. We want to move the stick away. We push the control away from us, and that pushes the stick away. Okay? Okay, if we want to curl the bucket, how I remember it, this is just like my loader. I operate the loader with my right hand, and my hand makes sort of a backward C, and that C points that way. So if I want to curl my bucket, this is a backward C, of course. It's not a regular C like that, but it's a backwards one. It's pointing that way. My fingers are pointing that way. I move it this way to curl it, and this curls the bucket. Okay? If I want to dump, I move it the opposite way, and that dumps the bucket. If I want to dump, I move it the opposite way, and that dumps the bucket. Now that's true of your loader, and it's also true of your backhoe. Curl the bucket, whether you're on the backhoe or the loader, you just move it in and that'll curl your bucket. And then you want to dump your bucket, you just move it out the other way. Okay, so maybe an easier way to look at operating the bucket and remembering what the bucket does, we talk about the backward C, but if you also think about moving the stick to the inside versus the outside, this is moving it a little bit closer to you, right? In essence, this is moving it further away from you. So if we're moving the bucket closer to us, that means the bucket's scooping and coming toward us, right? And if we dump the bucket this way, the bucket's actually going this way and dumping, and the bucket teeth are going away from us. So that might be one way to look at it. Also, if you're scooping something with your hand, just like you have your hand right here and you're going to scoop something up, right? your hand is pointing this way, you'd scoop this way. You wouldn't scoop backwards this way because you don't have anything to scoop with, right? So your hand is actually pointing in the scooping direction. So if your hand is pointing in the scooping direction, that's the direction you would scoop with your hand, like you're scooping something up. So move the control that way, and that scoops your bucket. Okay, so that digs with your bucket. And then the opposite of that, of course, would be true if you have something in your hand and you want to throw it away and get rid of it in this right hand. You wouldn't throw it this way because it would end up in your lap. You would, if you want to get rid of it or dump it, you would throw it out this way, right? So that would be dump out this way. Now, to be real deliberate, if we're going to dig something, I'm going to extend as far as I can the reach of my bucket because I want to dig something far away. So I'm going to push both levers forward. This one is going to push the boom away from me, so the boom's going to tilt away. And then this one, when I push this forward, it's going to extend the stick out. So we're going to extend the boom first. And then we're going to extend the stick. Now we can even extend the reach a little bit further by putting the boom a little bit lower and extend the stick. The stick's all the way out. That's where it stops. Now we can dump the bucket all the way, make sure it's all the way extended out so that when we grab dirt, we can start scraping dirt. Now we're going to come dig over here. So I'm going to move the boom to the left. That's all I'm doing. Now to dig, we're going to do a combination of lifting the boom a little bit and then we're going to pull the stick back toward us to drag the teeth along the dirt. The problem is the stick wants to push down into the dirt. So we have to lift the boom at the same time a little bit while we're pulling the stick back. So it's a combination of lifting the boom, see I'm just pulling back, and pulling the stick back toward me. So I'm pulling the boom toward me a little bit and the stick toward me a little bit. The boom a little bit, the stick a little bit. The boom a little bit, the stick a little bit. Once you do this enough, this will become a very fluid motion where you're doing both of them at the same time. But when you're learning to do this, do everything very deliberately so that you're doing one thing at a time. You're lifting the boom, you're pulling the boom toward you, you're pulling the stick toward you. Now we're going to curl the bucket a little bit. But you can see how it's trying to pull my tractor that way. I'm going to lift the boom so that unloads it a little bit, gets it up so it's not digging so deep, and then I'm going to pull the stick toward me. And you can see I'm maxing it out. That dirt is so hard right there, I can't break it. So I got to lift the boom a little bit more and then pull the stick back, see if I can break it. Now curling has a little bit more strength, so sometimes you can curl right here and break it loose. Pull your boom up a little bit, stick toward you, and now that it's getting close, I want to go ahead and curl my bucket underneath that dirt so it doesn't all fall out. So I'm going to curl my bucket. I want to keep the bucket about where the edge of the bucket's about level. Then I'm going to lift just my boom. Now we're going to swing the boom around to the left. Now, we can lower the boom a little bit and then extend the stick. Okay, so we're going to extend the stick. And now we're going to dump. So we're going to dump by just pushing this lever out this way. Okay, now let's do it again. We're going to come back with the boom. We just dumped our dirt. We're going to come back with the boom over here to the right. We're going to lower the boom. We're going to extend the stick. And we're going to put the teeth right in the dirt. First thing, we're going to start dragging the boom back. And then we'll drag the stick a little bit, and then the boom a little bit. We're going to raise the boom up a little bit, and then the stick we're going to drag back. Boom up a little bit, the stick back. Boom up, stick back. Boom up, stick back. Boom up, stick back, just like that. Then once we get close to the tractor, feel like we got enough dirt in there, we're going to go ahead and curl C, remember the C? We're going to curl the bucket. Now we've got a bucket full of dirt. Now we got to get it over to the dirt pile. So we're going to raise the boom. We're going to pull the boom toward us. We're going to pull the stick a little bit toward us so we don't dump our dirt out. Now we're going to move the boom to the left. Now we're going to extend the stick. Now we're going to dump. And dump is the opposite of a curl, so it's just this way. And that dumps our dirt. So that big old thing of dirt, we just dumped on the top of the pile and it rolled back right where we're digging. So we got to go pick it up again. So we're going to bring the boom down. Now we're going to pull the stick toward us. But as you pull the stick toward you, see how the bucket wants to go down to the dirt? I don't want to dig all my clay up right there. I just want to scoop up this thing I dropped. So we're going to pull the stick back as we raise the boom up a little bit to try to keep the bucket kind of scraping flat along the top of the dirt. So we're going to pull the boom back toward us. Now that we pretty much have that dirt captured, I'm going to go ahead and curl the bucket. Now we have the dirt captured. Now I'm going to raise it up again. Pull the boom toward me. Oh, I got a curl, I almost lost the dirt. Now we're going to move the boom to the left. And we can move it 90 degrees to the left. Okay. We can extend the boom a little bit. That'll give us some more reach with our stick. Now we're going to push the stick forward. And that'll extend the stick, and then we can dump the rest of the dirt. Okay, I'm going to sit back a little bit so you can kind of see what we're doing here. I'm going to move the stick. I want to dig over here, so I'm going to move the boom to the right. Now we're going to lower the boom, so I'm pushing it forward to lower it. Now I want to dig across there. I don't want to dig super deep. I just want to kind of scrape across and get a bucket full of dirt, because I want to leave that clay down below. So I'm trying not to dig super deep right now. So what I'm going to do is pull my stick back a little bit to try to engage it in the dirt. Okay, so we just pulled it back. That pulled the stick back. Now I'm going to pull the boom back toward me, which is going to raise the boom and raise the whole thing. That way it's not digging so deep. Now I'm going to pull the stick back again, scrape her along the ground. The problem is when you pull the stick back, it pushes down and digs deeper, right? So we got to kind of lift the boom. We got to pull the boom toward us. Now we're going to pull the stick toward us. Now we're going to pull the boom toward us. Now we're going to pull the stick toward us. Now we're going to pull the boom toward us a little bit. That raises it up. Now we're going to pull the stick toward us. Now we're pretty close to the tractor. We're not real close, but we're a little bit close. And you can see the bucket's fairly full of dirt. So now we're going to curl and just scoop the dirt up. Okay, now that we have the dirt scooped, and you can see the teeth right there sticking up, we're going to pull the boom up toward us, which will raise the whole thing. So now I'm just going to pull the stick back here. That'll raise the boom toward me. Okay, but now as you see it raises up, the bucket kind of tilts. So we got to put a little more curl in it. No big deal. Now we want to dump the dirt over here. So let's move the boom that way. So we got to move the boom to the left. Here's the boom moving to the left. That's far enough. Now I'm going to raise the boom up so we can dump the dirt on top of that pile. Now we're going to extend the stick, but you can see the dirt's going to start falling out. So all I'm doing is extending the stick. I'm just pushing it forward like that. But we need more curl so we don't dump the dirt out. So I'm going to add a little bit of curl. Now I'm going to extend the stick again a little bit. Now I'm going to extend the boom to extend its reach. So the boom will lay down and help the stick reach further that way. Now we're going to extend the stick, and we're pretty close now that we can dump the dirt. So I'm going to extend the boom just a little bit more. Now I'm going to dump. Dump is the opposite of curl, so we're just going to go this way and dump the dirt. Okay, done with that. Now let's see it in kind of real speed here. Okay, so if you're thinking about getting a tractor and considering maybe I should get a backhoe, but I don't understand all this tractor stuff, I'm not a professional by any means. I've just learned by practicing and making mistakes and doing it. So if I can learn it, anybody can. And the controls on here look a little intimidating, but there's only 8 directions you can move this, that move this 8 different ways. And once you understand how it works, it starts to become second nature. But what I would encourage you to do is not make the mistake that I made when I was learning, and I realized my mistake after a while, because I would just start moving controls and the bucket would go up and down and side to side in all these directions until I got what I wanted. So I'd move it to the left, and that's not what I want. I move it to the right. Oh, that's not what I want. I move it up. Oh yeah, that's what I want. And so I'm wasting my time and my energy because I didn't spend the time just being methodical about it when I first started. So I had to start all over. I had to like almost try to erase my memory of bad habits and then start to be very deliberate. So I had to just slow down and do one thing at a time. I want to push the boom forward. So I did that. And I'd watch it go forward, then I'd stop. Now I need to put the stick out, and then I'd take my other hand and push the stick out. So, and then I had to be real deliberate. I'd push the boom down into the dirt, or push the bucket down into the dirt by pushing the boom forward. And that would push the boom forward and push the bucket into the dirt. Now I would start to drag it back. So I'd pull the stick back, just one motion at a time. And when I made a mistake, I'd stop and remind myself, that's not the direction, this is the direction. And so once you start doing that and building that neural pathway in your brain, then it becomes automatic. And then it's almost like your brain, this becomes an extension of your brain. Just like when you don't even think I want to put my hand forward, you don't want to think I'm going to grab this glass and drink it. It just happens automatically because you've done it so long. And so, but you have to be deliberate about it, right? So you have to be deliberate about this as well. These controls, when you're deliberate about them and you start moving them slowly, pushing them, do one thing, move the control, do another thing, and then speed comes with time. And then pretty soon you're like doing this automatically, and you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, or man, I'm thirsty, I should go get something to drink, and you're just digging and digging and digging. You're not even thinking about it, and then it clicks in your mind, whoa, I'm just doing this automatically. And it does come pretty quick, but be methodical about it. Start slow, be real methodical, do one thing at a time, and let speed come with time.